Hello and welcome to the 10th session of Monday Morning Mojo, a program created for you by Fine World, where we use words wisely to equip you with the power to convert your talents, passions, and skills to worthwhile, decent, income generating activities. I'm your mentor, Magdalene Kamawotieno. Karibu. Now, there is a Swahili proverb that says, usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta. What does that mean? Loosely translated in English, it would say, if you don't fill up the cracks on the wall, you will end up building the entire wall. Obviously, because it's going to come down crumbling. Now, that's a scary thing, but it happens. There are many times that you actually know you're supposed to do something, but for whatever reason, you throw it to the back burner and you say, I'll do it later. And it sits in that basket of later, like dirty laundry. You know you're going to do it, but over and over you allow it to pile and you keep throwing more things there. And before you know it, maybe at the end of a week, you realize that you have a pile full of things that you need to do and time is over. And you have to rush through it and maybe pump into it a lot of resources to get things done. Now, at this moment, I'm wondering, what could these things be? Let me take you through a journey. Now, my African culture is probably the most exciting culture I've ever seen. Well, probably I've not been exposed to so many of cultures, but I find African culture tasty and very rich, regardless of what the rest of the world thinks of it or thinks of us as Africans. Now, I know for sure that when I visit somebody, I'm not supposed to walk in empty-handed and not with a bottle of wine. Hello, that's not our African culture. African culture demands that we carry a basket full of stuff, of goodies from where we're coming from that we know the other people would enjoy. For example, I live in Mombasa, so I'm visiting someone in Nairobi. I would carry coconuts. I'd carry probably, not if they're not the ready kind of coconuts, I'd carry madafu when they're still green. I'd carry all the nice things that we find in the Mombasa market. Then when I go to my friend's place, probably in Nairobi or wherever else that I'm going to go, when I give them this, they know that I come in, not only do I come in peace, but I come in to celebrate with them, whatever the situation is, good or bad. When I leave their place, the African in them will demand of them to pack my basket with goodies from their place. So for example, when I visit my mother, I'll pass through the supermarket because I know she doesn't need the coconut. I know that she would need salt, she would need sugar, she would need honey. She actually uses more honey than she uses sugar. She would need rice, and she'd need cooking oil. And she has her best cooking oil, fresh fry, and she likes it because it's liquid. It's beautiful. Actually, you probably, if you're not Kenyan, you should try fresh fry when you come to Kenya. And when I visit her, she will pack back. When I'm leaving, she'll pack my basket with things like avocados, arrowroots, maize and dried beans, milk. These are things that grow in her farm because she lives in the farm and she knows I'll need these things and I'll not get them at a good price here in Mombasa because we don't have really nice farms here. So what I'm simply saying is our culture demands of us when we visit, we take a basket full of goodies, and when we get out of there, the people there pack the goodies for us and we take back where we belong. Now, this happened last December. Yes, December 2018, I visited my mother just actually around Christmas. She invited me and my family and invited my sisters. So we had one of those huge, beautiful lunches with mom and my dad. And when we were there, of course, when going to her place, we carried the sugar, the rice, we carried honey, original honey from Kitui, and it was, beautiful stuff. And of course, out of gratitude, when we were leaving, she packed for me 5 kilograms of maize. Of course, I didn't want anything else. I actually didn't want avocados because I didn't think it would be fair for me to carry avocados from Central all the way to Mombasa without probably having them messed up. So I decided that I'd carry the maize because she actually gave me a variety and asked me, like, pick what you want. And I picked the maize, the dried maize. And she had threshed them out and they were clean. But she gave me a set of instructions. She told me, when you get to Mombasa, whether it's 2 days from today or to be tomorrow, it doesn't matter, but make sure you thresh this maize, you grind this maize into flour within a week. Otherwise, it's going to attract weevils and moths, and it's not going to taste the same when you grind it later. So you have to take it to the posher mill immediately. Please, my child, do it. And the lazy me decided to throw her all her information to the back burner. So days turned to weeks, turned to months, and last week, guess what I saw in my store? Moths flying around the store. So it was obvious that the maize had started attracting weevils and moths. And I checked the bag, and there were this whole, a whole pack of moths getting out of it, like they're having freedom. And I'm thinking like, oh no, the maize fly is not going to taste the same. So I actually spent 2 hours, 2 freaking hours, winnowing and selecting the maize just to make sure it would be clean enough for me to take it to the posher mill and have it ground into flour. Now, let me walk you back into something. It means from the time that my mother gave me the maize to last week, Thursday, I've been buying maize flour, packed maize flour, which is less nutritious, instead of using what my mother had given me, which is more nutritious. I've been spending money that I wasn't supposed to be spending. Now, my culture also tells me that if I don't unpack the gifts belonging to someone brings me a gift and I don't unpack it, it's actually going to stop other gifts from coming in. So I don't know how many other gifts I've not been receiving because I've been keeping that maize there. And call me a believer in stuff, but I know that happens actually. When you don't open a gift belonging to someone else, the gift that was supposed to come after that will not come because you haven't opened this particular one. But let's go back to usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta. If I had taken care of the maize immediately, if I had exposed them to the sun the following day after traveling, and then taken them to the grinding mill, the posher mill as we call them here in Kenya, and converted that to flour, you can imagine it would probably have taken me like 30 minutes to just simply do that. Now, it costs 5 shillings to grind 1 kilogram of maize into flour, and you have approximately close to 1 kilogram of maize flour. And I use that to make ugali. But because I delayed and the moths and the weevils were in the maize, part of that maize was actually not edible. So this is what happened. One thing, it took me 2 freaking hours to select the maize, to winnow and clean it up. And then after selecting, I realized I had half a kilogram of that maize was actually not edible. I couldn't even take it to the posher mill. So I actually wasted that. So out of my 5 kilograms, I could only take 4.5 to the posher mill. So I wasted time. Instead of 30 minutes of selecting, I spent 2 hours. I wasted money because instead of using the maize, I was buying less nutritious flour. And again, I wasted the money in the sense that this half kilogram of maize will never be converted, the bad maize will never be converted into flour. And of course, now imagine if my mother had this story, it would break her heart. So the other resource I know I wasted was my mother's love, relationships. And this is what happens when we don't take care of things when we have the time, when the grace period still remains. When we delay, when we procrastinate, when we put things in the wait basket, in the delay, another time basket. That's what happens. We waste time, we waste money, we waste relationships. Actually, I dare you to look into what you're doing and ask yourself, what are the resources that I'm wasting when I delay to do something I'm supposed to do? You see, not only have I wasted these resources, but in reality, it actually comes back to haunt me. I ended up building the whole wall, wasting so much time and resources out of this. I don't know what it is for you, but as I recap this story, as I recap on my Swahili proverb, usipoziba ufa, utajenga ukuta. If you don't fill up the cracks on the wall, you'll end up building the whole wall because it's going to crumble. My recap question is this. What are you supposed to be doing right now that you're putting in the back burner? That you're putting in a pile, in a basket somewhere in a corner saying, I will do it later? What have you thrown into the later basket that you know if you did it now, it would save you a lot of resources? It would save you money, it would save you time, it would save you sweat, it would save you relationships. What is it? Because if you actually go and do it now, you will have saved all that. In fact, I dare you, throughout this week, could you please not throw anything into the later basket? Do it right then. And this is a good thing about doing that. Whenever you do it that time when you're supposed to do it, instead of throwing it into the later basket or pushing it into the back burner, something happens up here in your brain. A signal is transmitted saying, if this thing needs to be done now, it must be done now. So anytime that you're delaying or trying to procrastinate, your brain signals you and tells you, you must do it now, or you will have to build a whole wall. I would want to wish you a super productive week where you will waste no resources, but you'll be quick to save the money, save the time, and save the relationships. I'm your mentor, Magdalene Kamawatieno. Remember, you are on a mission. Do it, leave it. Thank you.